App Planning for Success. Brought to you by Software Accelerator Playbook. On Instagram at S.A.Playbook.
Today on the podcast, we are talking about shiny object syndrome and why it really, really pays off to focus and keep adding brick on top of brick. Now, what do I mean by shiny object syndrome? This happens to a lot of entrepreneurs where, it's easy to start an idea, it's exciting, it's fun, you get to choose the logo, you get to choose the website, you're dreaming, what could this thing be? And at the beginning of a business, that's essential work to be done, but what happens after you get past that as you hit a period of time where maybe things aren't going well, or it's frustrating, or it's a headache, or whatever else it is. Seth Godin calls this the dip. There's more to it. He wrote a whole book about it, but the idea is that, as you start the business, you're moving forward, you're excited, and then finally you hit this point where it feels like a lull. It feels like, you're not actually moving forward. It feels like, kind of questioning yourself. Should I actually be doing this? All those kinds of things start popping up, and that's where a lot of people quit. Because it's not fun anymore, or it's more work than they thought, or they just feel like it's not moving forward, or whatever it is. But on the other side of this dip is where it really then starts to take off. And so the people that stay the course will get through this and then be better for it. It's almost like during this time, it's almost like you're putting down roots where you can't really see them as much. You can't really see the tree blooming, but the roots are essential. And so if you can hold on while those roots are going down, while it feels like nothing's happening up top, then that's when the tree really finally has that connection to grow. So where the rubber hits the road here for app founders and things like that, it's easy to kind of be onto the next thing, or just think like, oh, what about this idea? Or, oh, what about that idea? Or I've got 10 ideas and I just want to do all of them. And it's a trick. If you're trying to go multiple different directions at once. And now I actually suffer from this too. I definitely have had, many things, many projects in my past where, I was starting one thing and starting another thing, and it's easy to get excited by doing lots of different things. But the success happens where you go really, really deep with one thing versus shallow with lots of things. So take a look at, kind of the projects you have on your plate right now. And then also, kind of audit, for the past few years, have you stayed the course? Have you been focusing on, one core group of people to help, just to solve a problem for one core group of people? Have you, worked towards an idea for, a year or two, and then just kind of bailed on it and just, found another idea and where you were excited about it, and so you just kind of bailed on all the work you'd done and you kind of hopped to a new thing? Or, are you actually, holding on to, that same core group of people in terms of, trying to help, I'm trying to help this specific group of people, and then you just keep helping them year after year after year, and you will actually allow that tree to grow. You allow those roots to go down, and you allow the whole thing to bloom because of the time you're giving it. If you want to imagine this, like, let's say you've got 10 bricks, and you put them all side by side on the ground, right? Not very tall, but you take those same 10 bricks and you stack them on top of each other, and all of a sudden we're getting somewhere. It's 10 bricks stacked on top of one another is pretty high compared to, having those same 10 bricks dispersed across 10 different projects. And this is the key. The idea is that success is, stacking those bricks high enough. So if you stack any bricks at all that aren't stacking on top of the bricks you've already stacked, then that's wasted energy, and everything takes longer. I mean, even if you just have 2 different piles, then everything's just going to take twice as long. Those same 10 bricks will be 5 and 5 instead. So to get success for both of them, you're actually going to have to lay 20 bricks, not just lay 10 bricks. You're going to have to lay 20, which is double as long. So imagine, then that goes to, 3 different projects, 4 different projects, stopping and starting, whatever else it is. Some stuff can just like really elongate. And, then it feels like, oh, this isn't working. Why isn't this working? Well, part of the reason why it might not be working is because, there's a lot of other things going on. And so, as you're moving forward to try to figure out, with your app idea, what direction am I going? You absolutely need to at least land on the general niche that you're going to serve, the general type of person that you're going to serve, because as you start, making content to attract this kind of person, potentially, paying for ads to attract this kind of person, you're thinking of solutions day in and day out for this person, thinking of their problems, trying to get into their mind and understand, what makes them tick and what they're struggling with. Once you're choosing the road you're going to go down, you want to keep going down that road. You don't want to just bail on that road after taking all this time to go down one road, just completely bailing on that and going to another. Is you have to kind of start over again in terms of, building up your list, getting traction, getting known for this thing. It's really, really difficult to do that, and it just slows down the whole process. So let me be clear here. Even if the product changes, if you're still serving the same type of person, then you're still heading the same sort of direction. It's okay if the product changes. It's okay if there's iteration on like exactly what problem you're going to be solving, within that niche, or, exactly how you solve that problem. Because then, the people that you've attracted with product A will also need potentially product B. And so you don't have to go and find a whole new community. So that's a big part of the puzzle here. And it's so easy to get stuck in the technical aspect of it that it's easy to forget the idea of community. But if you cannot build a community, then it's going to be very, very difficult to succeed with your app unless you just have a lot of money to throw at advertising, and you've kind of you've got a whole funnel flow figured out, and there's enough average order value for your customer to pay for all that advertising. But with a community, if you get that going, that's something that can then grow more organically over time as well. And as people, you start showing up on lists that other people are putting together for, hey, if you're looking for help in this direction, go join this community, or go talk to this person. All that stuff really, really starts to add up over time. And so the more you stay the course, the more you focus on helping these people, and 3, 5, 10 years later, you're still helping these people, it's going to become much, much, much easier to have success because you have this focused effort towards helping them that somebody you pick up 4 years ago is still in your sphere. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. As soon as you decide to bail on that group of people and move to a new group of people, well, now you're starting from snowball size again, right? It's not going to be as big as a boulder. It's going to be a snowball size. So that's really difficult. That's there's a lot going on there, and if you don't pay attention to this, then you can really end up just kind of starting over and over and over again and having like a ton of problems, as you feel like you're doing all this work and you're not getting anywhere. If you want to think about it in terms of like a train metaphor. So the idea here is that, you're setting off on this journey, you're going on this train, and you're trying to get to a specific destination. First of all, you want to make sure that the track is actually going somewhere, right? Some of these things, you'll get started and then you'll realize, oh my gosh, a mile down the track, it just ends. There's just nothing there. So this, in the way that this metaphor would translate, it might be that you're actually serving the wrong niche. That the niche you're serving, either doesn't have money to pay you, or the amount of money that they have to pay you is only $5 or $10 a month. At which point it really is difficult to scale, because then you're just really dealing with the idea of the cost per acquisition of a customer is so high compared to what they're actually giving you, and then the machine, the whole system can't get off the ground. Or maybe you go down a niche where you think there's money there, but then you don't really enjoy it. And so, then after a year, you just say, I don't want to serve these people. I want to do something else, right? Then all that energy is just gone, right? So, whatever that means for you to have that track end, you want to make sure that the track you're going to hop on, will go on and on and on. There'll be, you'll have more to discover, years down the road, versus just, a short little, you're so excited to get the train out of the station, and then after you get the train out of the station, you realize, oh my gosh, the journey's over. That's it. I'm done. And then you have to start over again on a new track. So, in that way, you want to make sure before you head down the track that you're actually serving the right person. And then, from there, then you can kind of, dig in to figure out, exactly what problem you're going to solve within that sphere. You don't necessarily have to have all of that figured out, but you do have to stay the course. And so getting back to this idea of shiny object syndrome, that, it's so easy, it's too easy to be lured by the excitement of, something new, especially when you finally hit that dip point in something that you've already gotten traction for, right? You got traction, you figured out the name, you figured out the logo, you figured out the whatever else, and then you finally hit the dip where it's like stuff gets kind of more like to be like a chore. It's not like, not like the super fun making decisions and being creative with all that stuff. It's more about like just, nuts and bolts, get it done, start actually, finding customers and serving them. Although once you get through that, then there's really good things to happen on the other side where then you start really catching momentum. But if you've got one of those, if you've got a situation with that, and that at the same time you're in the dip, you're then thinking of another idea which is like catching your attention more and it's more fun to think about, that can really pull you off the hunt. And the difficulty here is to know yourself well enough to trust yourself that you're headed the right direction enough, which you do need to be kind of a little bit more sure of this, that you say, no, I am going to stay the course. I am going to do this. I know that this is going to be helpful. I know that I can help people. I know that the problem is not that I'm going the wrong direction, but it's that I've got to have better systems to find these people, or have better systems to sell these people, or have better systems to just clarify exactly what I'm selling, or create the right package, or create the right offer. But you know that you're headed down the right direction, that there's people there that need help. There's people there that have a problem, and that you want to apply yourself to solve it and to help these people. That's when you're going down the right track. And if your product then needs to iterate, that's totally fine. That's normal. It's normal for a product to iterate. But you don't want to iterate your niche, because if you iterate your niche too far and you go to a totally different group, then you're really starting that journey all over again. Now, of course, this, you're not going to get it right the first time you go, do something with business, unless you're asking for help for somebody who's done it before and they can guide you. So, if you've done this before a little bit, you've started this, you've tried that, whatever it is, it's not necessarily like the first time you do it is going to be a success, and quite the opposite. That the things you'll learn by trying this or trying that, you'll pick up things along the way, because you tried this thing and you realized, these customers are only giving me, $8 a month. So how do I spend, thousands of dollars on advertising to grow my business? Like it's just a non-starter. It's not going to work. But those things, sometimes you have to cross that bridge to finally learn that lesson. Now, if you are trying to, take the shortcut and you want to take a turbo boost and you want to kind of assure more success, that's when coaching comes in mind. That's when it's advantageous to then find a mentor, find somebody who's done it before, and somebody who can kind of hold your hand and really tell you what to watch out for. And if that's you, if you're trying to build an app and that's you're trying to make sure that you don't make a ton of mistakes the first time out the gate, that you're protecting your investment, that your money you want it to just not be thrown down the toilet with miscommunication issues with the developer, or heading down the wrong road where there's really no money to be made, please reach out. Hit me up on Instagram at S.A.Playbook. Send me a message and tell me that you're looking for some help, and we can get the conversation started. Thanks for listening. Talk to you tomorrow.